Greetings and welcome to Communication Campaigns. I'm Elizabeth Cohen. I'm going to be your instructor for the class. This is a course that's offered online for our corporate MA students. So I guess if you find yourself in the wrong class, now's the time to leave. I don't know. I say that when I'm teaching in person, but I suppose it's not entirely applicable here. This is part of my home. This is a sunroom. Sometimes you'll be seeing me making videos from home, kind of pulling the anchor look here. I've got like pajama pants on and something a little bit more professional. I don't know, relatively speaking. And other times you'll see me in the office, with less. Well, here's I guess I should introduce my teaching assistant. That's Ada. She's my 12-year-old pug. And over here I have. Where'd he go? There's one. Hey, Watson. Hey, Booba. Other times I'll be interrupted by various characters in the department, some of which you'll know, and others which I'll try to introduce you to along the way. All jokes aside, I do intend to try to do some of these movies at least once a week, especially while we're covering new content in the book. They'll all kind of be like this, where it's just me talking to you via camera. I usually don't do PowerPoint slides for my graduate classes. I figure that the bullet points are in the book, and I do, especially for this class, go very close. I follow the book very closely. So what I just try to do is kind of use a little bit more of an interpersonal dynamic to go over some of the things that I think are super important each week in the content that we're reading in the book, just to sort of pull out some highlights from you. But the downside is in order to get through these summary lectures, you have to get through looking at me. You're more than welcome to turn off the visuals if it bothers you. And sometimes I do kind of go on for a little while, and I apologize for that. I always do try to keep these videos between 10 and 20 minutes. So that's my goal. I have not run over it yet in my other classes, but we'll see. There's always room for change, for better or worse, I guess. Okay, all I want to do now is go through some of the highlights of the syllabus. Again, you can read it yourself. And I should point out there is a syllabus quiz that you'll need to take, preferably by the end of the first week, but in case people add later, I try to make it due the end of the second week. But the sooner the better. I'm sorry, the pug, she likes to lick things. Hey, shh, shh, shh. No, I'll move her in a second if it gets too out of hand. So what you're going to need to do is download this document. I don't know if you can see it. It is located on eCampus where everything else is, and read it. And in addition to that, I want you to go through eCampus, go through the course, and sort of do a little exploring so you can get a nice feel for where everything is. And then when you're done with that, you're going to go, and your first assignment is taking the syllabus quiz so that you can sort of test yourself on it and make sure that you understand everything. You can take that syllabus quiz, by the way, as many times as you need to until you get 100%. The goal is to make sure that you know what's going on. Shh. Oh boy, putting her on notice. So what is this course? It's a campaigns course, but although I will confess that when I asked to teach this class, I had really lofty goals and I wanted to talk about all communication campaigns. When I actually started putting the course together, I realized that it's just too much to focus on all different types of communication campaigns. So what I decided to do was focus on a category of communication campaign that, in my opinion, sort of has foundational roots that apply to all different other types of communication campaigns. So that if you understand how to put together one of these types of campaigns, you'll definitely have a lot of knowledge about the mechanics of other types of campaigns. Specifically, as the title of your book says, and you can get the information about that. Ooh, mine has like a sticky thing on it. We're going to be talking about social marketing, which you'll learn all about this in the first chapter that you need to read this week. But long story short, it's just like regular marketing, except it has very social or pro-social goals. It's not about marketing to get a profit. It's about changing people's behaviors or trying to get them to voluntarily adopt behaviors that will be good for them or good for the environment or good for their finances or good for other people. Or that's what I mean by pro-social. So public health campaigns would fall under this category. Even some political types of goals, such as maybe getting people out to vote. So it wouldn't be about voting for a particular candidate, but by the end of class, you will have a good idea about what would be the steps to sort of design a campaign that could influence people who maybe didn't go out and vote period, to go out and vote, but with no partisan objectives or anything like that. Likewise, sometimes this overlaps with regular marketing because you are encouraging people to buy something. So in that way, you're interested in making products look more appealing, and we'll talk about some of those. Some of the nitty-gritty about how to do that. But again, it's really not for profit, so it's different than marketing campaigns that, say, Coca-Cola would be doing. Okay, I digress. You can read all about it in Chapter 1, and you'll read the course objectives, and you'll buy the book if you haven't already. Most important thing that I think you need to know for an online class is that you need to feel free to reach out and contact me if you have any questions or anything like that. Because this is an online class, it's definitely not the place where you're going to be getting feedback immediately all the time. And so if you, for instance, have a confused look on your face while you're going through the content, I'm not going to be able to see that. So I'm not going to be able to reach out to you and say, hey, you following along okay? The onus is really on you to reach out to me when you need something, preferably ahead of time. I actually check my email crazy. On the weekends, less crazy, but that doesn't always mean that I can respond back to you in less than 24 hours. So you need to give me a little time. But by the way, just because this is an online course and we do everything asynchronously in discussion forums and things like that, doesn't mean that we couldn't have some more synchronous communication on the phone or on Skype. All I need is an email from you and we can set something like that up. I don't have, obviously, traditional office hours. You guys, like me, have varying schedules, I know, and I just don't think that would make much sense. But for that reason, I really hope that you'll feel free to contact me if you need to make an appointment, and I can work around your schedule. So please just keep that in mind. I want to say, I will say that's probably one of the most important things you need to know about this course. The other one, not to sound too lectury, is on the same level, you really need to be self-motivated. All of the deadlines I've tried to make extraordinarily consistent. You may have had this in your other classes. Everything's going to be due pretty much at 11:59 p.m. on Sundays. That means, though, that you've got to put that in your calendar and keep up with it. I will try to, at the beginning of the week, at bare minimum, sort of make an announcement on eCampus, give you a general outline of things that need to be done this week, or reminders, or just, hey, checking in, those types of things. But besides that, I'm not going to be able to sort of prod you and make sure that you're keeping up and everything. So if you're not, you need to be in touch with me. But really, I highly recommend getting some sort of calendar that will give you reminders about what's due. eCampus has one, and I will be honest, because I haven't seen it as a student, I'm not sure how useful it is, but it's there for you, so do what works for you. I will be checking eCampus at least once a day, and you should too, bare minimum. That's particularly important because that'll be my first point of contact for you if I change anything up or extend a deadline, or again, something comes up and maybe I can't, actually I'm not sure. Again, it's very different in an online class because it's not like I'd be canceling class at any time. But if there were any announcements I needed to give you, they would be on eCampus. Please don't use eCampus to message me, though, because I check my email much more frequently than I check eCampus. So if you need to get in touch with me, email is always the first place you should go. Okay, now the important part, the grades. This is on the page with Morpheus. Okay, so just to give you a really general overview of what's going to happen here. The goal of this course is for you to design your own social marketing campaign. Okay, so you're going to submit at the end of the semester a campaign proposal that sort of proposes your ideas for launching some sort of social marketing initiative that will help change people's behaviors for good. And that's a little play on words there, because change it for good, but also it's pro-social, so it's good. Oh, they're so funny, textbook authors. So how I've tried to structure this course is such that every week there's going to be a little worksheet, I call them, but just a basic assignment that corresponds with whatever content we're covering that week. And I usually go in chronological order with the chapters. We might skip over one or two, but for the most part, we'll do chapter 1. and then there'll be some sort of assignment associated with chapter 1, and then we'll read chapter 2 the next week, and then you'll have an assignment that is due on chapter 2. In each one of those assignments, the goal is to make that a step in the social marketing planning process, so that hopefully, it won't be perfect, but hopefully at the end of the semester, when you have to turn in a social marketing campaign proposal, you will already have all of the different you'll have all of the different components that you need to put in that proposal. You'll just need to flesh it out. No, he doesn't like pillows for some reason. Here, just lay down. Sit. There you go. Good boy. He's giving me dirty looks. Now that doesn't mean that just because you're doing an assignment each week that it's going to be perfect. Obviously, that's the point. The point is you download this. It'll be a Word document on eCampus. You fill out the Word document by typing in your answers, and then you upload that document to me using the Turnitin portal in the same folder where you're going to find this assignment. And then I'll give you feedback on it. And I'm going to try my best to give you feedback hopefully within a day or two. If it's going to be longer than that, then I'll let you know. And the reason that's really important is because you'll use that feedback to do your next step. Now, the reason I said it's not going to be as simple as, oh, you just take all of your assignments and throw it into your project proposal at the end, is because some of my feedback might require you to change things. So all I'm looking for is that along the way, you turn in your assignment, you get your grades for it, and then when you're drafting your final proposal, you just incorporate whatever feedback I've given you. Likewise, sometimes you might, for instance, say that you're going to be doing a campaign on, always a popular social marketing topic would be something like, cigarette smoking or something. So maybe you're going to do a campaign trying to reduce smoking. Okay, fine. But maybe, after doing a couple of assignments, you realize that that's not really the behavior you want to focus on for some various reason. So you're going to have to start revising things and thinking of a new topic, and then each of your assignments from then on should reflect that change. All I'm trying to say is you don't have to worry about the nitty-gritty right now, just that the whole project should be a work in progress throughout the semester, and if things are shifting around a little bit, I don't advise you to if you don't have to, but if they are shifting around a little bit, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The only thing I'm going to be looking for at the end is that you've incorporated any sort of feedback you've gotten on your assignments in your final paper proposal. I hope that makes sense. If you look at your grade, you've got about 13 of these assignments, these weekly assignments that you'll have to do, and they're each worth about 6 points. So it does add up, though, because combined, they are almost worth the same amount as the final paper proposal itself. So kind of like, 50% from the proposal and 50% from the assignments leading up to the proposal. The other, well, I would say experimental element of this class is that, I really like it when in my in-person classes, students present their work and do sort of a show and tell. And part of that's because I like to have people solicit feedback from other people besides me, but I also like for other people in the class to sort of see what you're doing. So I am going to ask you at the end of the semester, more details to be provided, to also construct a quick little video pitch that sort of summarizes all of the campaign proposal ideas that you've put into your final paper or the project proposal that you turn in. That will basically involve you doing exactly what I'm doing right now. You're going to have to find a webcam, record yourself talking for a few minutes, and make a little pitch for your classmates, and then you'll give each other feedback on what you've done. Don't worry about that too much now, but just to let you know, it will require you getting a YouTube account because I think that will make it easier for you to post on eCampus. And I don't care if you put together a fake YouTube account or whatever. It's just a technicality, and then you can delete it afterward. So basically, that's what this class consists of. You've got a syllabus quiz and an eCampus quiz that you do this week. Then you have these weekly assignments that I'll expect you to turn in at 11:59 on Sunday evenings. And then at the end, the idea is to draft a more formal campaign proposal. And I should add, I do want that campaign proposal to at least have some creative element, but you won't be judged on, for instance, your artistic creativity or your artistic abilities. I'm just going to be looking for how well you could maybe sketch something or conceptualize something, integrating the ideas from this course. So having said that, don't stress out if you only know how to draw and stick figure. You might not even have to draw, so don't even freak out about that either. And then finally, you'll have a short video presentation that I'll just want you to post among your peers. I hope you guys are peers, classmates. Maybe we're not all peers. And besides that, I really think that everything else, all these other course policies and resources and procedures are things that you've probably seen before. The only thing I want to add, I guess, is about everything's submitted on eCampus, obviously. I really do not accept late assignments. If you miss a weekly assignment because you've had a whole week to work on it, I have to be honest, I'm not very sympathetic about that. Now, this is very different if, for instance, there's some sort of emergency that you see coming up and we negotiate some sort of other hardship plan for you or something like that. But I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who try to upload something at the last minute and then have technical difficulties. Because again, I think it's unfair to the people who are sort of keeping up with things. But again, just to reiterate, if you see things coming up, I actually want you to feel free to get in touch with me ahead of time so that I can help you turn in your assignments in a reasonable amount of time, or we can get something done. So I don't really, so as far as the weekly assignments go, no late assignments. The project proposal is a little different. I'll be taking off about a letter grade a day for each day it's late, so you can submit it late, but suffer the penalties. There are various other sort of university required policies on the syllabus. But all of them, I think, we're safe if you read them for yourself. Do definitely take a look at the schedule that I've provided in the back of the syllabus. I hope, I think, but I hope that if you look at it, it'll give you a better feel for how the course is structured and how everything is going to be sort of leading up with step 1, step 2, step 3 to this final proposal that I'm hoping you'll have at the end of the semester. But if not, I hope you also know that you can reach out now. So I think that covers it. I think next time maybe I'll see you in my office. But we'll be back here too, I'm sure. And in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you on eCampus, in addition to posting some topics that you might be interested in, which is the goal for your first assignment this week. I also hope that you'll tell me a little bit about yourselves. I know that you guys might have had each other in other classes, but I don't really know much about you, so please do that. I'll just briefly tell you about me. I am an assistant professor of communication studies. Obviously, I got my PhD at Georgia State in 2012, and actually, social marketing is kind of what I was interested in. I actually am particularly interested in a field that we won't talk about much in this class, but it's entertainment education. It's designing campaigns that use entertainment to convey pro-social messages or persuade people to engage in pro-social behavior. So it's like inserting a pro-social message in a television show or something like that, and seeing if people learn from it, if it changes their behavior. I do have 2 dogs, as you've already seen. I am married to an online journalist who's so excited about me getting on the internet like this and filming myself. And I have been teaching at West Virginia University. I'm into about 4 years now, and 4.5 years. How about that? And before that, I lived in Atlanta my entire life. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll post more stuff about me on the discussion board. I'm trying to stay in my 20-minute limit, so I'm gonna stop now. But I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.